Welcome, Mike, to Big Content. It's sweaty. It's sexy. We got tattoos flying around everywhere today.
The dog days are over.
What do you mean? They're just starting.
I know. It's hot. I have not
AC's
slept.
getting fixed today.
I don't know where I am. This is like a flu game for me, but like a sleep game. But I've gotten good feedback on the pod recently. I was told we have good chemistry.
Who said that?
And that people are enjoying the podcast. So,
What idiot said that?
as a reminder to us, really, first and foremost, but to you guys, if you think this could be helpful to one person, share this with that one person, because I don't want to say that in fucking March of 2023 that this podcast hit its peak with 1,400 YouTube views.
Yeah, what happened with that? Why did that happen? I never went back and really researched
We were feeling good. And no, but I'm a big believer in we're putting in the time. We're creating good content. People enjoy the show. That's important. We do have to figure out, distribution and.
All right, buddy. Let's get to the show.
All right, big content. So where do we start? Today we start with your trivia YouTube. It's flying. You hired a couple of interns officially.
We got like 6K views on the last video in 24 hours.
I know. It's nuts.
So we're
I'm waiting for my royalties because I am an early investor.
So funny you mentioned that.
Are you already monetized?
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah. We just I just put it through yesterday. Went through the first 2 steps. We're about to be monetized.
Nice.
So one of the interns, so we officially hired 3 interns.
Congrats.
They're going to start
3.
3.
That's more than you were thinking, no?
Yeah. The problem with like shopping, it's like shopping when we go to our office, we're gonna be like, this is our budget, but like, you know what? This one's really cool. It's, that's how it works. It's because people have different skill sets and you're like, we could probably use that.
Yeah.
So 3, one of them is flying in this Saturday. He's from Florida and
He's going to move here for the summer?
he's gonna move here indefinitely. I think he handed in his keys for his lease.
What fucking witchcraft do you have over these people? This kid fucking it's the wife.
Did you see
the mattress? Yeah,
he's sleeping here. Yeah,
that's him.
Yeah,
he took Sexy P's.
So he texted me today, and I'll read his text.
He's got a tattoo of BDG on his fucking forehead.
He's gonna have
one
by
the
end of the summer. No. He said
give him a name.
Jameson Trahan.
Wait, he's not related to Ryan, is he?
Who's Ryan?
Ryan Trahan's like the best YouTuber in the world right now.
Nah, it'd be sick though. How do you spell his last name?
Trahan.
Oh boy.
Maybe that's where he gets his content wits from. I'm just saying, there's a chance.
Possibly. I feel like he would have mentioned that though.
Would he?
I don't know.
Okay. Cousins at least.
So he texted me, he said, what are your thoughts on me investing in a percentage of the new BDG trivia channel instead of getting paid? I said no. Absolutely no chance.
Tell him we can talk. What do I own? 12%?
I said, yeah.
Call him right now.
When we get in the seed round.
Call him right now.
Why?
Because, one, I need to know if he's related, because that's going to change the scope of everything. Because he's literally would be related to, like, the Mr. Beast.
Okay.
2023.
What else?
And I want to do a live negotiation. So you're not selling equity?
It's not a live negotiation because I'm not allowing it. You can't sell things that you don't own.
Fuck.
I said, I like where your head's at, but no. This is a conversation for the future, depending on where it goes with you.
Yeah, but he's trying to get in early. We all see the promise.
You don't need to get in early because it's not like by the time I would give him equity, like we'd have
valuation
we'd raise our Series B.
If it has 100,000 subs by the time he's done with it, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, you get 3%. Now he could get 6%.
Why the fuck would why would I give someone equity in it right now? He's not done a single thing for it.
Because he's going to grow it, if you believe.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see about that.
Yeah.
I'll give it to him.
I'm actually shorting the stock.
Oh, you're back out now. A little pump and dump. Well, no. The way I would look at it is like any of the first bunch of full-time hires, I would just give equity in the company. Like going for equity in BDG is BDG trivia.
Yeah.
Sharp, but it's not a thing. Like we're not.
You could get a more meaningful stake.
We don't have it as a business. It's not like an LLC or Inc.
But he could get rev share on it. Like that could be his.
Yeah, maybe.
Like
here's what we're doing with the intern. So we have 3 coming in. He's flying in Saturday. The other ones I figure will start right after the holiday. So they're coming in next Thursday. That's their first day.
Whoa. July 4th is the holiday on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You gave off July 5th or?
Good guy.
Recovery day?
Changing my ways. Not for me.
July 3rd?
I'll be in here July 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th.
Okay.
Tony's going to be out of office, so I wasn't like trying to put them through a boot camp by myself, I got shit to do.
Yeah.
I'll be here. They're starting Thursday. So they're going to go Thursday, Friday, and then the regular schedule will kick off Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They'll be in here from like 10 to 4, so that's 5 to 6 hours, 3 times a week. And basically, I put together a pretty intricate schedule for or of exactly what they're going to be doing, and I laid it out: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. And a lot of their primary focus is going to be trivia, right? Like that was one of the big mistakes we made with Guessing Ike's Lunch, is not looking at it as its own business and like scaling it as its own business. I also don't think like no one took leadership of it and was like, I'm going to make this my thing, but this is what we're doing the second time around with it. So a lot of their work is going to be putting in time for that. So we'll be doing, right now we do 1 trivia a day. We're going to scale it up to 2 trivias a day. Wow. And we will have at least 1 extra exclusive YouTube video go up. So that way there will be content that you can get from it on TikTok that you can't get on YouTube, and vice versa. And now we're starting to make a few $100s a week off of it from TikTok. So it's like worth investing back into. Yeah. That, along with like all the other stuff that we really couldn't get around to with everyone else in the office, like in terms of one of the biggest focus outside of just trivia is creating original native content to each platform. So like Twitter and Instagram, we're going to be making sure that we're making like memes and stuff that's relevant to fantasy. On TikTok, we're going to be doing more like trending stuff around the office to get our like personalities a little bit out there. So they're going to tie up a lot of loose ends when it comes to that. But it's cool. I mean, it's good and it's bad. It's like we're hiring these people to just focus on this new part of our business. Whereas like YouTube, we don't necessarily need that much extra help. I don't know if any of these guys can actually help with YouTube, because me and Tony like have that kind of down. So that's where we're at with that. I think it's going well.
All right. So I think, for the audience, how did these interns stand out? What did they do specifically to get noticed?
Okay, so probably go one by one on each of them. Jameson already has a following of 200,000 on TikTok, covers fantasy football. So that was kind of like a layup to me. It shows me that like there's a lot of guys that came in here. We had one person in particular that came in here. This kid named Austin, been following us for years, really passionate, like loves the brand, wants to help out really, really, really badly. And he like kind of makes fantasy content, but does not have like the backlog. And I could tell he started making it consistently like the month leading up. But like to me, that's not enough for me. Like I don't need to know that you're going to be putting out the content when your motivation is really high. I want to know that you're going to be doing it for a long period of time when the views aren't there, when the followers aren't there, the engagement's not there. I want to know that you're willing to like do the content because you love doing it, not because like you might have a job opportunity coming up in the next 2 weeks. And if you do it right, you can capture it. Longevity is really important to me. So
I'll say that is better than the person who doesn't do anything.
Correct. I mean, like, that person would never get in the door. Right. You know what I'm saying? But like for Jameson, him building the following, already easily able to understand who he is as a person and like what he's capable of doing. So that was an easy one for us. There's a kid, Matt, who actually went to my alma mater, Marist. And he's like, he basically took over like the media team at Marist young and like started running the entire like production team for their like sports, for their sports program there. He's good behind the camera. He's good in front of the camera. He's a smart kid, sharp kid. It's kind of interesting because one of the other interns, this kid, Nick Gutt, plays football in college, has been a big fan of what we're doing, like on the YouTube side of things. Matt really only knew us from TikTok. So we have like kind of like a convergence of different personalities or different people knowing us from different areas, which I think is cool because it gives us like different angles of how we can grow the business because they're not like infatuated with one spot or the other. Yeah, I think it was a combination of like going above and beyond in the application itself, like caring about each question, putting thought into each question, not showing up shirtless in your video, like giving good ideas and stuff throughout it, and also having experience. That was it. It was just like kind of going above and beyond for each aspect of what the application process was.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would imagine in the next... Well, all right, I actually have this question instead. What's their timeline?
Very much up in the air right now. So the kid, Matt, basically already told me, he's like, I have a fall internship lined up like at ESPN. Nice. It starts at the end of August. I understand if the timeline doesn't work out, whatever. So for him, it'll be short. It'll be 2 months. For Jameson, he's like, I want to make sure that if I'm flying up from Florida, I'm not just there for a month and a half. So I told him this could be indefinite through the football season, and then we can go from there. So it's kind of up in the air, just like seeing how very much like, in our like creative industry, it's sink or swim. Yeah. It's like if you continue to add value and continue to make a place in the company and do things that we didn't have before, and I feel like your really contributing to what we're doing on top of what we're already have in place, you could stay around for as long as, you know, you're doing that. So right now we don't have a hard stop for any of this stuff, and we'll kind of figure things out along the way. It's kind of what our like motive has really always been.
So 2 thoughts. First one is they can add value at the intern level, but I think getting from that level to being like, hey, you should hire me full time because that's how much value I add. You should just be conscious of that through your intern journey, right? So if they're coming in editing TikToks, all right, then they're probably worth that type of wage. But if you can think about a business plan that shows how you can drive revenue back to the company and then look Nick in the face and be like, hey, I'm driving X amount of dollars by my work here, reinvest that into me so we can continue to grow. And then secondly, not to deter people, like who has the ESPN?
His name's Matt.
Matt. Not to deter people because it's still a good opportunity. But the biggest worry for a business owner with interns is you hire an intern, you spend the next 2 months training them up, mentoring them, doing whatever you might do, and then they're back at school. And then they're back doing something else. And it's like, it's just not a good situation. You'd rather not hire an intern than invest in them and then they're gone. So if you can offer fall, you know.
From like a human level, when he said that, I was like, it was kind of like a turn off or like a beige flag, as they would say, where I'm like, okay, seems like he's probably, and we actually had this conversation beforehand. He's a very talented kid. He has a lot of experience, but he felt way more formal in the sense that like he's probably a better fit at ESPN. Gotcha. And I don't know if I could speak to that yet because we haven't spent enough time with him. But that was my thought. I was like, okay, it seems like he kind of knows what direction he wants to go in, and maybe that's not good for long term. But I will say the only reason I even thought about hiring interns was because Sexy was leaving, and I was like, we need to fill a hole right now for what we need. And then these other guys just kind of popped up, and I was like, oh, we could use that, and I was going window shopping at that point. Really so it was excited. Like, it depends what you're doing. If you're hiring interns just because you're like, we have extra money and we want to grow the company and maybe they'll be a long-term player, one way to look at it, you obviously have to be conscious of that. The other way is like, we need a very specific role for the time being, you know, then, you know, more hands on deck because maybe your, your product inventory started shooting up and you need more hands on deck to, you know, create brand designs for your stuff and need more packaging and stuff like that. That's a specific role that you might not need forever, maybe like seasonal or something like that. So it's, you know, just got to be kind of conscious with those things. But all in all, the process was fun. I think we learned a lot. I think they learned a lot. They were able to, one of the more exciting parts of doing this was giving Tony and Sexy a chance to like really become more part of the strategy process. Yeah. I was in Florida and Denver for a week, right? And that was my first glimpse into like what happens when I'm gone. And I did do a lot of extra work the week before to make sure that we had our content going out during that. But like I needed to make sure that they took control while I was gone. And I told them like, what you guys are doing in the office, right? You guys do a lot of video editing work. You work hard. You work, you know, long enough hours. Where I was like, those skills are entry-level skills. The difference between being entry-level and like getting to the next level is your communication, your strategy, your vision, and how you like command people within the office and how you stay on top of projects and things like that. Right? Like that's how the corporate world works. And I've told them like the way our company is structured, I don't care about age. I care about like talent and how good you are at your job. So as we're growing and we're bringing in new people, the people that are doing that the best are the ones that are going to leapfrog you. And they could be you. So like do the job that you want to be at the next level. Like if the next level job requires you to be communicating with 4 different people per day and like setting up these tasks and whatever it is, delegating and all doing all this shit, do that now before that's actually your role so that I know that you're capable of doing it. And that was like my message coming back from it, because being in a very like non-corporate setting, you know, you lose sight of some of those things, but it's really important to like take that step to the next level of people understanding that leadership is important even from the entry level spot, you know?
Yeah, it's healthy that you're encouraging them to do that. It's also healthy that they know they need to take the initiative. Like it's never just, it has to come from them, but that is how you go to the next level. Entry level, like I think they're more talented than entry level.
I agree.
I would reframe it as like, if AI gets really good, you will be replaced.
And what I said
strategy
was like
and
entry level, but like with more creative freedom than most entry level jobs.
And it's a skill. It is a talent. So speaking of entry level versus creativity, went to VidCon in Anaheim.
Yeah, let's go.
Had a chat with our friends at Underdog. It was good. Our PowerPoint didn't work, but Liz and I freeballed it. And
it just like didn't go up on the screen?
Yeah.
I saw the one picture of me in the background.
Yeah,
Just
for
the
the
slide,
last
the home
2
slide?
minutes of the 10, we got it up, and it was the final slide, which you made it on for vibes. So that was great, but I think VidCon as a whole, it's a creator conference in Anaheim, and it's the craziest situation of all time. It's 55,000 people over the span of
55,000. Did you you see? I think you should leave. Have you watched that show?
No.
Tim Roberts. What?
No.
On Netflix, this guy, this insane guy that just does like comedy sketches.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll send you the clip afterwards. But I thought you were doing a playoff.
No. 55,000 people over the span of 3 or 4 days. And it is a mix between literally CMO at Pepsi, the top YouTuber in the world, a 12-year-old TikToker with 4 million followers.
Right?
Yeah. 36-year-old in a Spider-Man costume. Like, it is
It's my type of people,
it's
bro.
creator nation. Yeah. So honestly, I'm a creator. We're creators, but we're not like those types of creators for the most part. But it was really interesting to just be there and consume really good business getting done away from the conference. Like the conference, the con, it was almost like Comic-Con was like where the speaking was, but you'd only speak and then you would go hang at like the surrounding hotels, meet people, network. All the apps were there. Really interesting. Twitter had no presence there, which with Musk pushing like Twitter to pay creators and stuff like that, I think that was a miss. Snapchat was the talk of the entire conference. So last year was TikTok, year before it was YouTube. Snapchat was. Snap's like winning in the press right now with how they're paying creators. Yeah. My feelings on it, my thoughts, I've shared them before. Don't think it's sustainable. Do not think it's what they should be pushing. I actually sat down and talked with someone at Snapchat who works on their creator content. And I asked them, I was like, is this the content you want on the app? Is this where you want to be? Like, is this the finished product? And he was sharing that, no, like right now they're figuring it out. They're doing an amazing job of onboarding creators, getting attention to the app. And good quality content will eventually come from it. We feel like we're making really good quality content, and we're losing to Dobrik, who posts, the picture of some chick's ass in the thumbnail, which I understand. That's what it is today. I think
so dumb. It's like random pictures, and the last picture is always that.
It's shitty, but I get it. Like, no judgment. I just don't think that that's the final form of this platform. You need to get more like YouTube, where quality content is going to win, or else, advertisers will spend and will lose because people are just flipping through and not actually sticking on the platform. So on that topic, any thoughts?
I got a few questions. Yeah. Cause last week you, not necessarily concerned, but you were like, do you think I'm going to like learn anything from it? Yeah. So I guess one, yeah. What's a relationship you walked away with that you were like, oh, I'm glad I like met that person? Anyone that stands out?
Yeah, so honestly, it was the first conversation we had. It was with an agency that works with, I should probably know this, but like Xbox or big TV spend. I personally did not get a ton out of the conference.
Really?
I'm not going to lie. I was a little disappointed. Alex and Bryant works for the agency. They were like head over heels. They thought it was
pitches everywhere. The decks fucking everywhere.
Yeah, they thought it was the most awesome thing. It was great to sit down and with the underdog team and be able to like get that rep on stage with Liz and truly what we spoke about, like I believe so incredibly passionate. Like I am passionate about it. Because it's true. Like our partnerships with Underdog are the dream partnership, not from a money scale, from a collaboration. Underdog Super Bowl house, right? Yeah. Equity in the company, them listening to product feedback. Like that is the dream partnership, and it just works incredibly well together. So that was awesome. But for me, yeah, I wouldn't say I like learned a ton either. And my learning might have been, a lot of people come in with agendas and they scope out who they want to talk to. I kind of just went in open. I didn't know what the situation would be. So maybe year 2 would be different, but they've got one in Baltimore in September. So maybe you take the train, slide down there.
I definitely will. I think actually because the person that we're hiring on the tech side lives in Baltimore, but part of the contract is that he's got to have FaceTime in New York at least once a month. And he's like, how about every like 3rd or 4th month you come down to Baltimore and hang out with me and my wife and like we'll spend the weekend together and work that way. So
where in Baltimore is he? Do you know? Canton?
Nah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Exact location. I just said I don't know.
Okay. But maybe if I said it, it would have rung a bell.
No, absolutely no idea.
Okay.
Baltimore was already like too specific.
Yeah,
the fact that I knew that.
Maryland.
East Coast.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting because like I've only ever gone to like 2 or 3 live events, and I've never actually put myself in a position where I went there with an agenda or like needing anything, right? Like I feel like a lot of live events there's an underlying theme of leverage. Like every conversation you have, you either have leverage or you don't really like, not necessarily care, but you're not going into the conversation with it. But you either have leverage or the person has leverage over you in a lot of conversations. So a lot of people go into live events with an agenda or like, here are the people that I need to meet, or here are the questions I need answered, or here are the companies that I need to talk to. And I almost feel like it's kind of an unhealthy way to operate in those events, because I think the most fruitful relationships I've made a lot of the times are just random, like just a person at the bar next to you and you're like, oh shit, you work for that company. And then like before you know it.
And that's how the hotel vibe is, right? It's like the business doesn't get done at the conference, it's around. And I think that's common in business. One actually really interesting thing that I know the audience will appreciate that we learned. So do you follow like creators and stuff? I know we do a podcast about it, but you're kind of like siloed. So YouTube has the rights to Sunday Ticket,
It's just about to be about Red Zone.
No, just in general. They did a whole promotion around draft with a bunch of YouTube creators, and we talked about this. It did not go well. From like a efficiency standpoint, the money spent and the amount of people that signed up, it didn't click. And when we talked about it a couple episodes ago, maybe 4 or 5 episodes ago, I said they're working with creators that aren't going to drive toward. So is it just an awareness play? But it wasn't. They need signups. So I found that to be really interesting as we're sitting here like planning on going to 17 Thursday night football games, and YouTube, and we've spoken to YouTube, and they're like, oh yeah, whatever. It's like with a product like that, you have to hit the hardcore football fans. Ryan Trahan, who was there, he does all these different challenges and all these things. Like his audience, there's such a small percentage that's going to sign up for that stuff. So I would say like they should be working with you, or they should be working with like we might be too broad. But you guys, your audience will pay for
every single one of my audience watches Red Zone Sunday.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, he's definitely not related to Jameson.
So I found that to be really interesting. They were super rushed. Like YouTube found out about the thing, they had to put something on. It had to happen quickly. But YouTube is a huge push, obviously, for the NFL. So I'm curious.
I saw a tweet yesterday that said that DirecTV won the rights to Red Zone.
Did they?
But I don't know.
No, there's no way.
I must have read it wrong, too, because I was like, this would be a bigger deal. If they swapped the two things, I would be like, what an L for YouTube TV.
Yeah, if you lose Red Zone, why do you even have Sunday Ticket?
Yeah.
But maybe they did. So you guys have 100,000.
DirecTV announced that they have signed a multi-year deal to carry NFL Network and NFL Red Zone on Okay, so they just included. Gotcha.
So you guys have almost 100K. Well, you now have 100,000 YouTube subscribers between your two accounts. Are you guys doing?
Are they going to give us a plaque?
Yeah,
like a half.
Yeah, half plaque, or like 6%.
Half copper plaque. Yeah. Are we doing what?
Are you thinking about how you could would you ever want to work with the NFL? Like,
dude, I would. I think this is like a broader conversation to have, because most people, even in my position, if I didn't have I understand now that I could probably be like, Jack, do you have someone that I can get in touch with through these companies? If I didn't know you, if I'd never met you though, the normal creator, even at our size with our pull, right? 500K TikTok, 100K on YouTube, wouldn't even begin to understand how I get in touch with those people.
Yeah.
Outside of randomly meeting someone that happened to work at the company. And I almost feel like that, and a lot of those companies do outbound, so they're the ones that like find you, but I feel like there needs to be a more efficient process of how would I go about meeting those types of people to pitch them on that without having a connection through you. Yeah. So like, I'd be interested in definitely having a conversation. I don't think it's a room that I'd be uncomfortable being in whatsoever, but I just don't even understand the process of getting in touch with them.
All right. Well, I have a meeting with the NFL today, so
like after this,
6:30 tonight.
Tonight.
Yeah.
They're like, you're doing it on my time.
On PST. Yeah.
I got dinner.
I mean, I'm on PST right now.
Oh, 6:30 PST?
Yeah. No.
Okay, makes sense. Gotcha.
So yeah, maybe.
Right,
we're gonna be in conversation.
Hit me with that linky.
Yeah, I'll send you. You can. We're doing a recap of the Snapback Monday stuff, but a huge. So we did 140 million impressions across all our platforms, majority on Snap. That was a big push for us. But they've said we're hyper focused on YouTube this year. So
drop the name, drop the digis.
Yeah, all I need 12%. BDG trivia, and I'm selling 2% to fucking Trahan's cousin. So that's VidCon. Mid-tier creator. That was a conversation that was relevant around. Where do you consider yourself? Not you, but everything you've done. Yeah. Like, are you in that middle tier?
I don't know.
Like, I think you have to be above it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm
not saying
we're not low tier, but I would say mid. Yeah.
You think you're a mid-tier creator? I mean, you guys put out mid-content. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like mid-volume, mid-content, just like most things are mid.
Yeah.
We might have a number that's
the revenue you guys are doing would put you. Your mid-tier creators are like, they're probably barely hanging on.
Okay, that's fair. If you look at it that way, I mean, I guess. Yeah. Well, it's almost like the tiers are. It's like low-level creator, mid-level creator, like business, right. And then like alpha, I guess. Or
that's what I'm saying. Like, I guess are in that next.
Yeah, one. I guess we're in the next tier. I just like don't really know how. I don't know. Understand how we're viewed externally. Like, I have no fucking idea. Like, if I went and...
I don't think you guys have, like, the brand rep in the business world. But that doesn't necessarily matter. That's actually what I would argue is what this whole conversation's about. The mid-tier creator, the whole conversation at VidCon, around VidCon, people smart in the industry, is that the mid-tier creator is going to get wiped out in this next 24 months. Because what the mid-tier creator is not... what it should be, which is they have a sustainable product to sell. They're so reliant on brand deals, and that's what's going to knock them out.
Dude, I can't stop thinking about the TikTok creativity program, dude. Like, I can't stop thinking about how this is the actual first real path to creators who have built an audience to like really get paid.
That's interesting. I think it's the worst thing that's ever happened.
I just can't disagree.
I don't think it's sustainable.
From what angle? Financially?
Yeah.
I don't know the finances behind TikTok, but like...
But think about
it's so different than Snapchat. My question is, when does it run out? But right now, it is like...
There's no ads.
It's a single purest opportunity.
Absolutely. Like right now, Gold Rush, go for it, upload minute-and-one videos and fucking fire off. People are making 10, 20, 30, 50 grand
But TikTok's also like way more difficult now to actually get those views if you're not making high-quality content.
It is.
Yeah.
But now you can actually, but you were getting pennies. Now you're getting dollars. That's a meaningful upgrade. But there's no ads in your content. So explain to me how it's going to be sustainable.
I mean, I guess it could be just like a rising tide. Like TikTok realized they need to invest in creators, which will bring the creators there. And when they raise their next round, they can invest in, they'll bring in a lot more advertisers because they have the creators there. Longer form content leads to better advertising conversions.
Yes, but in a YouTube video, you need 12 minutes of watch time, or you need a 12-minute video, and then you're selling ads within.
Can I just say fucking our last trivia video that went to like 6K in 24 hours, 33-minute video, average watch time of 6K viewers.
Yeah.
Guess.
Like 21 minutes?
Yeah, like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Equity going crazy.
That's the thing. You get someone to watch for 20 minutes.
Okay,
you can sell
it's more sustainable than Snapchat because it's more enticing.
Both
like the Snapchat makes no sense. I don't know. I feel like they're just like giving away money at this point. But you can. It doesn't help anyone outside of really famous people already or people that were already established on Snapchat.
No,
TikTok is a way that's like you can actually put out good content, grow, and monetize from. Because I think about how many awesome TikTokers are on the platform that have built a huge audience and get a lot of views per video and still like don't make any money from it. I'm like, these people are good creators and probably deserve to make a living off of being a content creator. Now, can they parlay that into making a business?
Thing. What are they owed? Are they owed something? That's the question.
Are they owed something? No, I'm just saying this from a pure opportunity standpoint. This is like one of the cooler things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It feels like a more powerful version of YouTube AdSense because like making a full-time living off YouTube AdSense is so difficult. Like you have to put up crazy numbers, but like on TikTok, probably the same, but like there's so many.
You have to put up crazy numbers.
You do or don't?
Yeah, you do.
Okay. But I'm still saying more people probably have that on TikTok, especially over like a shorter period of time.
What do you think you're going to make this month? Let's say 28 days. What would you make?
I don't know, 3K, 5K maybe.
Okay. And what's that? You're doing 1 million views a day? Less?
Less than 1 million a day. Yeah.
500,000? Quarter
Probably
million?
Not even. Yeah, maybe a quarter. Maybe a quarter.
Let's
million.
say it's a quarter million.
I guess like all our videos combined.
Right.
Maybe, yeah.
250,000 views a day. It's like 5 million views a month.
Yeah.
That's fucking hard for someone to hit.
Yeah, I agree. But and I don't think everyone deserves to make a lot of money off of it. But I think most platforms like the big creators. I think this broadens the range of like good creators. Like in most industries, in the creator economy is one of the very few industries where like you actually have to be inside of the 0.3% in order to actually make money and make a living off of it.
Yeah.
There's very, very few other industries. Even in the most demanding fields, obviously the most demanding, there are ones that are more than that, but like top 5%, you could probably make a living off of it. Right now, platforms like that, like initiatives like this allow the top 5%, which I think creators deserve. The top 5% of creators, I'm not saying the top 50% deserve to make a full-time living, but as it stands right now, it is so fucking difficult to be a full-time content creator. Like the gatekeeping, I think, is at a very high level. And this is someone coming from someone that I feel like I hold myself in high regards as a creator. Like I do think I'm in that top percentile, but like I think there are people that put out great content that are not very business acumen focused. You know what I mean? And like that doesn't mean you should not be able to make a full-time living.
That's where I'm not sure. I'm just not. Think about it. A great artist, if they're not good at selling their paintings, that's half the battle. Or they go work with someone who can sell their paintings, and they lose, and that's what working with an agency is. I think
that's fair. That's like kind of fair, but like
chase the wrong thing.
But content creators who are like, okay, if you're a great artist, like you're not getting no one can say you're a great artist. Like you're not getting any feedback. You're not getting a feedback loop.
What do you mean?
You're not known. Like, and if you are known, that means you have people probably buying your paintings and stuff. Creators, like, if you're a good creator, the numbers will back that up, and people are watching your shit, and the market has spoken that you are good at what you're doing, and
you're good at creating content.
Correct.
That's the same as creating. You're good at creating painting.
Right, but the content creation is actually you getting like the market is actually telling you that you're good at it. Therefore, I think that there's something deserved of that. If you're just like painting in your fucking apartment and that's all you're doing and not getting no one's telling you that you're good at it, then yeah, that's I think it's a little bit of a different beast.
It is different, but my point is maybe being a good creator is having the business side of it too. And all I'm saying is this going to encourage really bad behavior from creators? They're now optimizing not for community, not for watch time. They're just optimizing to chase this bag, and they're just optimizing for viewership, right? So if all you have to do as a creator is get views right now, that means more clickbait. It means more hooks. It actually means less quality creation. It means quantity.
You don't think they'll refine though, like the types of videos people get paid for, or like
they have, but original content. Me streaking through New York. I mean, maybe not nudity, but I don't think that the end game for mid-tier creators is the TikTok creativity fund. I still think it's productized.
I think it's cool though. That
okay, so let's talk about our friends, Babita, which you called Bobita.
I know so many times. I was cringing when I can't believe you didn't say anything.
I know it's one of those things. But anyways, Babita Tailgate. If you guys don't know them, they're some of the best short form fucking creators I've ever seen. They get the hooks, they get the editing, They are the hardest working people in the industry, and no, seriously, they travel more than I do, which is.
I was trying to pitch them. I was like, "Come to New York, get an office with us."
Yeah,
they're like, "We're traveling too much."
Yeah. So, anyways, I don't know their entire revenue model. I don't know their entire business model, but they ask questions about like dudes who talk about sports, and they have this game. And they said they don't really make any money off the game. They don't push the game. That's not a high priority for them. Brands is something they want to work on. And now with this TikTok creativity fund, and they asked you what advice you would give. And I think we both share the same sentiment, which is, where's the community? Who cares about you guys? They just care about this entertaining content.
Well, let's give the background of like their path right now, because they started making content last summer?
Yeah.
Last summer they went full time doing this by January.
August, yeah.
When they asked, they were like, what's your advice or whatever? And like, obviously my mind went to like longevity. You cannot just rely on content. I think it's a good gap, or it's a good bridge while you build out that side. I can't tell you like how impressed I am that they have that card game and that product built within that like 8 months.
Yeah.
That itself is like really
I think
fucking
they did
impressive.
it before. I don't know what the timeline is. Yes.
Either way,
but
though.
This is my frustration is, okay, so now what is the obvious next step for them? Because they know a format that works, right? You figured out short form content. What did you do? You are creating a business out of it, even though you won't LLC it and give me equity in it. You have gone to long form because you know that you can extrapolate it. You know that you have a business model for it. You know how to staff it. And instead of them focusing on how do we sell more of our cards or how do we create long form content because we're really fucking good at content, they're chasing now a TikTok creativity fund. And look, they'll make $250,000 this year just by doing that, probably way more. And they just did a deal with the NHL. Like, things are great for them. But if this fund runs out because the business of it doesn't actually make sense for TikTok, where are they left? They're screwed.
Yeah, my first thing was like, you need to start making content that is valuable to people outside of like those short form types of videos. But you can also parlay it into what we were doing on YouTube, or what we're doing now, where it's like our trivia games start to parlay into it. But I also think the product placement for their cards is so easily transferable.
But this is my point. I agree. Those are the paths. But what are they going to focus on the next 6 months? Strictly just more of this. Which they'll grow an audience. Like, it's not, I'm acting like it's doomsday. Like, they're going to make a shit ton of money and grow their audience incredibly well. That's
If you had to predict how long this TikTok creativity program is going to be like paying out the rates that it is now, what timeline would you put on?
Probably like a year.
A year?
Yeah, I think they could last a year. I don't know, though. Advertising's down. Marketing's down. Like, I can't say. I know that one other thing at VidCon, I talked to a bunch of creators who have monetized, and they just jump. It's like Snap Spotlight was paying $1 million a day, so they tried to get their share there. Shorts was paying, right? They tried to do their thing. YouTube short, all this stuff. So I just don't know if it is sustainable as an economic business model. If it is, great. Like, then this podcast, this whole conversation is going to change.
What do you think about an idea of a platform like TikTok saying, okay, let's continue paying for the content. Let's build out a really easily accessible e-commerce platform where you could sell your products straight from out. It's almost like Shopify built into TikTok.
So they do have that for Amazon. They do have products like really
within TikTok.
Seamless product integration.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that, but I think if they went really seriously after that and helped brands monetize creators through building like a business or a product, I think that's really cool as well. Like, if we were able to just like throw merch up on the screen or something like that, where it's a button click away, people will probably buy the shit out of that. They take a cut of that. I think that's a way for them to promote good quality content and pay for that, but also make sure that they get a cut of the product that the creator is selling without actually having to put any work into inventory, any of that stuff. I feel like the platform that's able to pull off like the full scale top to bottom A to Z e-commerce part of like business for creators is probably going to be the one that really wins.
Well, it's really interesting because Instagram was building that. They built Instagram shopping. They had the Reels fund. They had they even did NFTs, all this stuff, and they've scaled it back and they've pulled it back. And, I was reading through some decks from our friends at Slow who showed creator VC, like all these things are down. Like the market's down, but they're down, a larger amount. I have an unwavering confidence that creators are going to be the future. Like, there's no doubt. So now is an amazing time to like figure that stuff out. As everyone else pulls back, you want to attack that market.
Amazing time to make 1 minute and 1 second TikTok.
It is. That's all I'm saying with them is like, just look, making the money will allow them to hire, to get an office, to scale. Like, it's not black and white. I just don't want them to chase the wrong thing.
I got you.
Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in like the short term, financial income that's coming your way, but you can't lose sight of, I guess, the long term play. But I don't know if that's necessarily like, I guess TikTok is kind of incentivizing that, but that is going back to the subjective creator again. Just like if you're smart, if you're intellectual, if you're on top of those things, and maybe it does come back to like you need to have a little bit of business acumen to do it, but. I think it's interesting. I'm really excited to see how it plays out over the next 12 months. Not only
you're just excited for that first payout.
Yeah, 100%.
No, it is.
It's cool because we're in it too. Like we get to experience and then talk about it. Because there's a lot of people that probably talk about it that might make like $100 a month. Yeah. We'll probably make serious money, and I'll be able to be like do's, don'ts, like what you learn from it.
No, content monetization without brands or products has been the issue forever. Is there an economic model that actually makes sense for both the platform and both the creator? We've seen Snap do it with the stories, and it's lasted probably longer than I would have expected. But Snapchat shows, those used to make a lot of money. I mean, there's still a lot of money in them. It's just more competitive. And then YouTube AdSense, which is why I say long-form content, there is a model. It's the reason why if you do a 30-minute episode on NBC, they can sell 8 minutes of ads. If you do an hour-long podcast, you can sell 6 minutes of ads into that. If you do a minute-long video, how much ad space is there? That's the issue with all of this. So if they think they figured it out, or if they say, you know what, cutting into our profit margin because yes, we need creators on the platform. That there's always been an argument for that. Without the creators on Twitter, Twitter is like, what does Twitter do? You know, what's so special? Someone could easily build a replica of Twitter. It's just you need to move the people. And that's what these platforms are trying to do. They're trying to get creators on their platforms. Last thing, we did our offsites with our creators from our agency. So we've spoken to 3 of our creators, sat down with them full 8-hour days. Why do you do this? What do you want your legacy to be? You know, yeah, and they really appreciate it, but it was really cool to like see the path for what I would say, or I mean, our framework is level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 3, Mr. Beast, DePaul's, KSI, they've BDG. Hit that BDG. That's kind of like level 3. Level 2 creators, that's like us right now. Would I say we're like fully covered all of level 2? No, but we've built businesses. We've built stuff that it wouldn't be as good without our names or us in them, but they can kind of sustain. We've productized. We've built community. We are viewed as experts outside of or in our niche, in our category. And then level 1, someone who on TikTok has 1 million followers. Brands want to work with them. They've got a little bit of a following, but they've got they go to sell 100 T-shirts and maybe they're falling flat there, or they're wanting to, build something sustainable and they can't quite figure it out. So our goal to take creators from level 1 to level 2. And part of that is we have an offsite with them, figure out what they want to do, why they want to do it. We're going to create a playbook for them, and then we're going to go execute on it. And, I was talking about this funny curve, and you've gone through it too. It's like, so you start out creating and you make no money. You just do it for the love of the game. The love of the fucking game. But then
I'm still there.
Yeah. But then you start to gain a following, you make some money, and then Nick, we'll hit this inflection point where it's like we're making like a shit ton of money, and because we're working in content, it's extremely profitable. And like this is the best time ever. And then we're like, fuck it, we're idiots. Let's build a business. And it's back to we're making no money, reinvest everything into the business, work and do shit that like sucks, like fucking water plants when all you had to do
love of the game.
Love of the game. But think about it. 2 years ago, you could have just sat at your desk, recorded a video a week, put out a draft guide, and
I think about that all the time.
Right? Those are the good days. So we are now convincing
on the nights I don't sleep, bro.
Yeah, like up. Last night. Yep. We're convincing these creators that they want to go on this journey because this, that creator can only get so far. Like there is a ceiling on them. There is no ceiling to the creator-led business and to the creator sustainability. So we're taking people into that next level. And it's exciting to see that, someone with just 500,000 followers or 100K followers can build something real like that.
Are you, okay, so those people, right, they've had success as individual content creators. Yep. I guess like one of the healthy balances you need to figure out as a creator is if you want to take that next step. Are you working with people that like actively come to you and say like, hey, I want to do this? Or are you convincing them saying like, you do want to do this? Because I think there's give or take there. Because absolutely, there's a lot of people that would be better off not doing, like they're making a lot of money. It's like use that to like supplement your life and enjoy your life rather 100%. Than because this shit can get overwhelming and very, very, very stressful,
it's tough
very quickly. And it's like if you don't love it, it's going to set you back to fucking 100%. Where you started from.
That's the beginning of all the conversations. And we say, tell us right now if you're in or out. I mean, it's not like because
in this world, it's always like you get the idea, like the way things are put out there. It's like bigger is always better. Faster is always better. More is always better. It's not true at all.
No. Yeah. Like the days where I was making money and it was just all profit like that, but it's not sustainable for the most part.
Well,
it's tough.
It's like, do you want to challenge yourself? You know what I mean? It's like, do you want to take the next step? And I did that part for a long time where I was like, this is fun. Like, I'm just going to level up year over year over year. And I got to the point where I was like, this is not necessarily fulfilling me anymore. Right. Like, I want to see what my potential is. Like, I've always had.
That's the thing. All these creators we're working with, I think they have potential to do this. But we say, look, if you want to work with us on the agency side and you don't want to do this, it's fine. We'll bring you deals. We'll take our cut. Like, we still have to pay people and, like, make the world go round, our little creator world. But if you do want to go to that next level and we think you have the potential, are you in or not? Are you going from, hey, you got paid 50 grand over 3 months to work with Gatorade, to now that 50 grand, you need that 50 grand because you need to hire a COO, and that's going to supply, half their salary for the year to put on events, which you then have to dump $10,000 more into, which you then have to sell. Like,
here's another question I would phrase to you, and I would have wish I learned this or asked myself more seriously when I was younger, is like, when you do start making money, how much of it do you invest back into the business? Because when I was coming up and started making like serious money for the first time, I thought I was investing back into the business. My idea, like if I made $200,000 that year, my idea of investing back into the business was like 20 grand and letting 150 grand sit in my bank account, being like, just in case. Now I look at it, I'm like, I want to be almost bankrupt. I want to be like on the red line and making sure if I had an extra 40K, let me hire someone full time for that. So that's the way I look at it now. I'm like, if you're a creator that's really...
You're psycho though.
What do you mean?
You're like even with reinvesting back in, like that's just psychotic. That's,
you take what you need in your life and then invest the rest back in.
Most people are not like that.
My question, I guess, is like,
no,
how do you look at it?
Right, we're gonna play that happy medium, and it'll all be on risk tolerance, right? Mm-hmm. Like, there's also capital really just helps with speed.
Yeah.
So if the person's risk tolerance is, all right, I made 200 grand. Let's say post-tax, and I'm reinvesting 20 grand, we're trying to convince them that we're not trying. We're saying, hey, it probably makes sense.
We're not trying, we are.
It probably makes sense to put like 100 grand back in. If they say, you know what, it makes me uncomfortable.
But that's like a really uncomfortable number. Looking back on it, I wish I would have just pushed myself to do it because we'd be so much further along. And I was like, that's too much. What happens if like I just lose 100K from something else? Then I'm back to zero, but I'm like, the investment of 100K will go so fucking far at that point.
And we just made our biggest investment to date on what's going to happen this fall, and it has.
Oh, I never guessed that number.
I know. We'll talk about it after, but yes, it's like for me, I still need that moat. Like I didn't go from what we paid them to zero. Like we still have cash in the account that is just like backup.
Don't get me wrong, we do too. We have a lot of cash left over too, but I'm filthy rich. I could retire if I wanted to, but in my mind, I'm like, I'm okay if I invest like 90% of that right now to see what happens over the next 2 years.
I'm not, but I do have an aggressive risk profile, but I'm not as aggressive.
Would your CPA told you that?
No, I just know that. Like,
aggressive.
I'm a gambler.
Profile.
I'm a gambler. Like all of this.
I'm not gambling though.
Yeah, you are.
Nah, I don't gamble.
Like the way I think about how much we paid this athlete is like that's the biggest bet of my life on a sports game.
That's a gamble. Yeah. But it's like
so it's hiring an intern. It's just like you laid the juice. You paid minus 1,000.
Way much.
That's what I mean.
Like the risk is very low though.
That's what I mean. You paid minus 1,000, and I'm betting 50 to 1. And I put
I don't think it's 50 to 1
on like the max.
I guess I don't know the numbers
on the max
behind
outcome.
it, but I don't know. I would just if you're a younger creator and you're starting to make decent money, look at like seriously sit down, say, what are my expenses for the next 6 to 12 months? Figure out what kind of luxury money you have on the outside, and I would definitely invest that back into it. Yeah. And I would say, I think the easiest investment to make, or the investment that most people get caught up in, is the equipment and stuff. And I think you could do a lot with low quality equipment, and you could maneuver your way into making things look high production.
But we're talking
invest in people.
Yeah,
that's my
which is a big expense.
Right. My advice is like, if you have 10K left over, hire an editor, hire even a VA if that helps you out. Hire outreach.
What's a VA?
Virtual assistant.
Oh, okay.
Hire any of those things rather than being like, let me get a $3,000 camera with a $3,000 lens, $1,200 on microphone and lighting and stuff like that. A person will help you get to the next 10,000 way quicker than I think the production quality of things. So
yeah, and let me give you one really exciting thing is that for the first time ever, you can de-risk yourself and you can hedge, and people will invest in you as a creator, and you can actually raise money. So that is where, if you don't have, because every time you reinvest, you're just buying your own equity.
Yeah.
Right? You could, that 100 grand that you're pouring into Tony, because he's the most well-paid, handsome intern in America. But if you wanted to keep that 100 grand, but you could just give up a percentage of your company. Oh my God, we've gone off the rails here. We've gone off the rails. But that is an option. It's something that I'm not willing to do. Like, I am not willing to give up my future equity. Like, I'd rather reinvest it. But if your risk profile is, you know what? I think I want to be a creator. I'm killing it. I want to go to the next level. But if this all fails, I want to not be left with nothing. Take some money and share in the upside. That is an option.
There will be a day that comes. I understand how recklessly I move financially. There probably will be a day that comes where I'm like, I got about 5,000 in my personal account, and we're not making money here anymore. I mean, I hope that day never comes, but I think it probably will.
We had our first negative month since I started the business last month. So we're officially burning, unprofitable. Now it was.
I feel like we've probably been like that since we got to the office.
It was like $100, but that was like a huge wake up call. Like, all right, I'm now fully reinvested to where I'm not going to make a single dollar this year, but the growth that we're going to have from it is going to be tremendous. But I also do have that backup fund that I can do that. If I ran out of that account, then I got to raise money, and that's how business works.
That's kind of how I operate right now. Like, if I have, let's say, 150K just like in the bank, understanding that, say, hey, over the next year, we might burn $5,000 maybe a month. Yeah. Assuming that we don't like double our profits, or assuming that we don't make any more money that we do right now, just expenses, revenue, we could last on that for 2.5 years. Right. You know what I'm saying? Even losing. And I'm like, if I invest that much money year over year, guarantee you we'll be profitable by next year or something like that. But that's the way I look at it.
Right. But you're saying if we could last 2.5 years.
We could last 2.5 years burning through that 150K.
And so that's where I would say, like, you're not even investing at 90%. Investing at 90%.
I'm just saying that's my mentality. I'm like saying if I want to, that's why I feel comfortable putting more into it, because I'm like, even if we start losing money at a rapid rate, like it's still,
if you scale that up.
Yeah. It's not like, okay, I'm going to invest 100K this year. It's not like that number goes from 150 to 50. It's like we're going to make money off that 100K. So it's like it's a slow burn. But if we can just continue to do this month after month, year after year, even if we're not like profitable for 4 fucking years, but we're continuing to be able to do this every day, it's like, what else are you trying to do? Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, it is. It's
skirt.
All right, that's all I got. I need to go back to sleep. How'd I do?
Good.
All right, good.
I feel like we just yelled for 60 straight minutes. I'm fired up.
Subscribe.
There you go. This is my first time rocking this style. What do you think about it? Think it fits me?
Yeah, it fits you for sure. I could never. It's not tatted enough. Like, my tats aren't visible. There's some of my behind.
Mm-hmm. Can we see those?
Huh? You want to see them?
Yeah. Patreons only.
I think it's OnlyFans. Isn't that the purpose?
I mean, both. Just put it behind a paywall. We want to see them cheeks.
Super fan.
Ooh, speaking of super fan, let's go. This is like, we can do a 5-hour ep right now.
Oh, you're dialed? Because like 6 minutes ago, you were out. I thought we were canceled.
Because now that we have...
we weren't even in here. We were out there.
We were only...
And you were like, no.
We were only going to cancel because Tony shoved a memory card in a hole that it's not supposed to go into. Don't turn around, Tony.
At least I don't work here, because I advised him on...
not for long.
On cutting... Yeah, true. Cutting.
Yeah, you guys are going to ruin
the roadcaster up.
The way that equipment gets treated around here is like, I really should have got rid of everyone. The lenses just off, wide open, like caps, like not being.
You can't get rid of everyone. Just everyone should be an intern, because interns have respect.
Interns have respect.
The full timers, they get too comfortable.
It's like the less respect you have for someone, the more respect they have for you.
Yeah,
it's gross.
Yeah,
it's not the way it should be.
Yeah.